I don't like this show. Just giving you the spoilers right now to not disappoint you later. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is the newest Disney cartoon. It came out last month, and at the time of this video, there are a dozen episodes out currently, and I watched all of them. Now, my opinions on this show are all over the place, so we'll divide this video into sections. Section 1. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur premise. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is a show about a 13-year-old girl named Lunella Lafayette, who is a super genius and has a T-Rex as her partner after a wormhole incident allowed him to enter her world. She balances her home life with her family consisting of her mom, dad, and grandma, and average everyday middle school drama, while constantly lying to everyone that she is a superhero. She lies because throw a dart at a board and whatever it sticks on is the answer. And before you say, but if villain saw her disguised in episode 1, keep in mind, Lunella started lying before that villain saw her. So why did she lie from the start? She has a best friend named Casey that is the same age as her and the only person that Lunella has ever told her secret to. Honestly, if I'm blunt, there's a lot of great potential here, but it is not utilized very well. I get that everyone out there is praising the show, but I have to ask, why? Maybe I'm just not seeing the things that people love, but my first impression of the show was that it was terrible. Let's break down all my points, shall we? Section 2. Retro Cliches. So I am making a new term called retro cliches. It's when a modern show uses a cliche that was a cliche in the past and brings up the cliche again despite going years and years without using that particular cliche. Maybe this might not be a cliche to most people, but it is to me and it bothers me. And that's the main character keeping a secret / lying to their friends and family about a secret identity, a secret lab, or in the case of this show, both. That's because this is not what animation does anymore. There's a reason why we moved on from this cliche. Really think about it. What shows still do this? Hamster Gretel is doing this, yes, but that's a parody of the cliche. Its intention is to make fun of it.
My best friend looks just like you, and her name is Gretel, just like you, and she has a hamster named Hamster, just like you. I just want to know, can you sign this t-shirt for her?
Oh, sure.
Now, the people who made Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur were heavily inspired by cartoons from the 90s and the 2000s, which makes sense since the person behind that show grew up in that era. Then again, despite being inspired by that era, they have stated that this show will eventually get Cerebus syndrome. You know, as in more serialized as time goes on. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is not the only modern cartoon to do retro cliches. The Lava House is a good example of a cartoon that brings back ideologies from previous decades like the 90s and the 2000s. Good God, the 2000s was a couple of decades ago. I'm getting old, people. The Lava House, following the trends of the past mixed in with elements of the 2010s, is what made the show so popular. However, they brought back terrible cliches as well that we were more or less done with by the time the Lava House came out. Hey Arnold introduced this cliche of, I only hurt you because I love you. It worked in that show because it was Helga that did this. She grew up in an abusive home life and was not able to properly control her emotions.
Hey, who's taking me to preschool?
Yeah, in a minute, Olga.
No, I'm Helga, Dad. Helga.
Whatever.
They go into incredible detail to show that Helga has a hard time controlling this. Like, Helga herself was bullied, and her standing up for herself is the only way that she was able to express herself. Helga on the Couch is still one of my favorite episodes of Hey Arnold, for the record.
Okay, I'm not gonna hit you this time. This one's for free. Today I'm feeling generous, but tomorrow, look out.
However, everyone else failed to understand what made this work. So throughout the entirety of the 2000s, we had shows stating, if the opposite gender hurts and abuses you, that really means that they love you.
Hold up. You mean when they argue, that means they love each other?
Exactly.
Ouch! Ow! Ow! Miss Parrington, get him away from me!
Get him away from me.
That means he likes you. He just doesn't know he does. Ow! Why'd you do that?
It's over.
Don't worry, Todd. I forgive you. She's beating him up because she's got a crush on him.
Of course, Truman doesn't have a bully, he has a girlfriend!
Oh, it's so cute.
And this continued with the Loud House, which, bringing this moral into the modern era, gives it double standards.
When a girl picks on you, that only ever means one thing. She likes you.
So people of the same gender beating each other up is bullying, as the episode Heavy Metal establishes, but opposite sexes means love. Isn't Luna Loud bisexual? So if Sam beats up Luna and / or vice versa, is that love? And there are other shows that have done this. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends has aged horribly, in more ways than one. But the main issue that I had with the show was Frankie. Ignoring the, eye candy that she is for Mac, was her being an incompetent slob that was bad at her job constantly and gave very little shits for anybody else that would use the imaginary friends to her own will while not caring about them and not even telling them where she left off.
Do you really have to go?
You're right. I don't really have to go, do I? You didn't come to rescue me because you missed me. You missed all the stuff I used to do for you.
Yeah, Frankie, you've been going in and out for months and then decide to stay there, neglecting responsibilities, making people that love you think that you were dead. But yeah, get mad at them and put your own words into their mouths. This cliche here is why I didn't get into Kid Cosmic.
It's not budging. Maybe we should just let her have it. No way. She is not joining the team.
Yes, Joe, allow this random 4-year-old girl to turn into a 40-foot giant little girl to her own will. I'm sure she won't cause any trouble at all. And let's make Kid look bad in the process, have him apologize, even though he was in the right all along. Okay, I know I'm getting off topic, but you get my point. Retro cliches are bad. End of discussion. So which specific retro cliches does Moon Girl do? It does Dexter's Laboratory, but honestly, it's also any superhero show with a secret identity, where they don't tell anybody about their own secret identity. I'll put it as simply as I can. I hate liars. They are the fastest type of people in existence to make me hate you. Half of the lessons of the show is Lunella being told, don't lie, and yet she still proceeds to lie even after that.
Ever anything else you need to talk to me about? Anything at all? You can be honest with me. I'm ready to hear it.
Ever realize that the best shows of the past don't keep secrets? My Life as a Teenage Robot didn't keep secrets, the Powerpuff Girls didn't keep secrets, Jimmy Neutron didn't keep secrets, Kim Possible didn't keep secrets, and those shows still hold up. My Life as a Teenage Robot and Kim Possible are in my top 10 favorite cartoons of all time. Jimmy Neutron is still hilarious, and while Powerpuff Girls hasn't aged the best for me, I still enjoy the show, and there are thousands if not millions more that enjoy it as well. Meanwhile, shows that did keep secrets from over a decade ago have aged horribly. Dexter's Laboratory, Fairly OddParents, Totally Spies, and Danny Phantom have all aged like milk. Dexter has this genius character not be able to understand common sense in a frustrating way. Yes, Dexter, this super genius, doesn't know how to use a feather duster. I'm being serious. Fairly OddParents had terrible parents and rules that it couldn't follow to the point that the plot holes were extremely obvious. Totally Spies, fan service to keep me monetized on YouTube. And Danny Phantom has Sam. She is the worst. But there was this episode called Reality Trip where the parents find out that Danny is half ghost and they even accept him. And yet Danny wipes their memory of that moment and now they don't know that he's half ghost again.
Or will ever remember.
For no reason! To make a character keep secrets work, they would need a legitimate reason. For example, a person that is transgender with transphobic parents would more than likely keep being transgender to themselves, using their dead name and dead gender to stay alive. Although if it gets to that case, real talk, go seek friends, help, therapy, just get out of that situation. If you want me to just use a random animation example on secrets, Spider-Verse does it perfectly fine. Why does Miles keep everything a secret? Because Kingpin flat out says,
kill that guy.
Like, someone's trying to kill him, he knows this ahead of time, and only after that does he decide to keep everything a secret. For protection. That's how it works. And it would be hard for Miles' family to understand, especially with Miles' dad being a police officer, and being proven that he's not a big fan of Spider-Man himself. I'm kinda interested if they'll explore this concept more in the sequel later this year. If Lunella, for example, had a terrible family, that would be enough for a justification, but Lunella's family is constantly supporting her. They're the happiest family that I've ever seen from Disney, so why does Lunella keep lying to them? And we never get an explanation. Liars are just things that make me hate a person the most. It's how I lose trust with someone. I have this saying in life, One lie equals 1,000 lies. Because when you realize that someone lied to you, how can you trust anything that they have ever said? And Boonchoi also tried to lie in the season 3 premiere of Amphibia, but they're able to avoid this because Anne's lie is instantly shattered 5 seconds later, so any attempt that she could have pulled off is instantly gone.
It's a really long story.
And we're the Planners, the lovable frog family Anne's told you all about.
Pop, that was not the signal.
And Anne tells the truth for the rest of the series. The only exception was the robot, but that wasn't for long. Compare this to something like The Owl House, which is what I'm afraid is the direction that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is going, where Luz constantly lies to everyone, for multiple episodes, towards her friends, her mom, and especially her girlfriend. All because she's afraid or because she can't get her palisman to work, which is inexcusable. Is Lunella afraid that she won't be allowed to be Moon Girl if the truth was revealed? Maybe she could try to convince her family on this. Lying to her best friend and grandma? Wow, it must be a day ending in Y! The morals of this show are very childlike. It feels like the target age demographic for this show was My Little Pony, as in preschool. But I will give Friendship is Magic this. They don't spend the first 2 minutes of every single episode spoon-feeding you the moral. Episode 3 has Mimi telling Lunella at the start that you need to be patient in life to make things work. What is the next 20 minutes of real time about? Lunella learned to be patient. Yep, just like what the moral that was stated at the beginning.
Sometimes the most important ingredient is a pinch of
Paprika, parsley. Oh, no, plutonium.
patience. What about that idea of yours? Something about speeding things up.
Actually, Mimi, I think your recipe is perfect.
Heck, I'll even defend DC Superhero Girls 2019 in that regard. They spoof you the morals at the beginning of every single episode as well, without the audience themselves trying to figure out or learn the message like you're supposed to do in real life. But at least they only waste 11 minutes of my time with each episode. Moon Girl does 22 minutes, so it's even longer for a character to learn not to lie 50 times. Yes, Lunella, lie to your family and friends. In episode 10, Lunella gets all tired doing the same thing every day, and I get that. We all need breaks from our routines. I take breaks from my 40 hours a week job, and I even take breaks away from making videos. So Lunella admits that she needs to take a break from crime fighting because it's tiring, right?
I can clear your schedule if you are. Yes. Oh, yes, I'm hurt. Oh, my ankle, it hurts so bad.
Or you can fake an injury. Yeah, go ahead and be a bitch. So this show follows retro cliches, a compulsive liar, and Casey. Oh yeah, let's talk about Casey, the girl that has more screen time than the fucking dinosaur.
I'm so fucking bored!
Oh boy, Casey. Section 3. Casey. Casey is boring. I'm just gonna come out and say it. She's a 13-year-old social media manager. A child managing a social media account is an automatic red flag, even if the person that they help out is the same age. I have no idea how a 13-year-old can be a social media manager. On the internet, you can only start using social media at the age of 13. Because of the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA for short, no one 12 and under can have their own social media presence. So Casey either lied about her age, she's using one of her dad's accounts which could lead to at least one of them having jail time, or Casey somehow got super smart with social media in just a couple of months. That's probably why they made Lunella 13. They wanted to make their protagonist as young as possible to relate to as many children in real life as possible, but they also needed to make her old enough to be legally allowed on social media. Despite this, Lunella does not act her age. And Boonchoi from Amphibia is also 13. She was originally going to be 16 or 18, but Disney forced her down to be 13. But even with this limitation and change, the show managed to work around the issue and actually make Anne feel like an actual good, enjoyable 13-year-old. Lunella has the mad scientist skills of someone in their 30s, is in a teenager's body, yet acts like a 5-year-old when it comes to social skills and morals. To me, this feels like parody for Casey, like a LOL situation. It feels like the type of joke where you see a child doing something for adults, but having a childlike view on how they think that the job works. It's always a funny joke to me, having these high-pitched kids wearing suits and having briefcases. Even seeing kids imitate their own mommies and daddies will always get a cute chuckle out of me.
My name's Peter, and I work in the brewery. Now I'm gonna put on my pants and go talk to my co-workers that these pants have stool in them.
But no, they treat this seriously. There's no self-awareness to it. Like, they're perfectly fine with a 13-year-old being in charge of a social media account. One that has 82,000 followers, by the way. Serious though, real talk, minors should not be allowed on social media. I've said this time and time again because it is a dangerous world to live in, and the internet is the biggest cesspit to have ever existed in history. It's where criminals get away with most of their shit, and I've seen it happen time and time again. Bad people get away with truly horrible crimes, and those pieces of scum taking advantage of real minors is my biggest worry in all of this. It's one thing if Casey was just looking at stuff online, but her being a manager to what appears to be a big following at the age of 13 is actually damaging. Like, actually being on social media and getting this popular this early will actually damage you for the rest of your life. It's a very bad thing to do. I don't know if her two dads know about her being a social media manager, but this is not healthy. It is not healthy. Today I Am a Woman hasn't come out yet, but it does sound like the effects that will happen when you become famous too early. Like, please, don't do this in real life. If Casey was 18 or 19 or in her 20s or even older, I wouldn't complain. But at 13, no. Just no. Alright, let's get back to the normal critiques. For some inexplicable reason, no one ever puts two and two together in realizing that Moon Girl and Lunella are the same person. Yeah, the villain in the first episode did, but she technically saw Lunella's mask, helmet, thing, whatever you call it, come off. I get that in superhero media, sometimes the heroes have the very obvious disguises that we in the real world could identify. It started with Clark Kent's glasses, but this is honestly a thing that can't be pulled off today. Sure, Lunella is not the worst at this. Yes, Batgirl, wear a bat hoodie. That totally won't give your identity away. Who am I kidding? You girls don't even wear masks. Here's the issue with Lunella. Casey is shown by everyone to be hanging out with both of them. Episode 11 does show Casey pulling a trick off with her phone to show that Lunella and Casey are separate.
Annual event that celebrates our little block. I'll call her right now. You got Moon Girl. Hey, girl.
But it's kind of suspicious that Casey hangs out all the time with Lunella and Moon Girl, but never at the same time.
I just wonder where the parents are. Yeah, they gotta be all kinds of dumb not to know what their kid is up to.
Yeah, sometimes this show doesn't know what tone it wants to go for. Is it supposed to be parody? If yes, then it's taking itself too seriously. Section 4. Devil Dinosaur. How do you make a T-Rex fucking boring? Oh, by having him be from hell and not a technical T-Rex.
And became fluent in Dinosaurian. I even learned his name. The literal translation is terrifying fire beast who will bring about the end of all things. But hear me out, we discussed it, and we're gonna go with Devil for short.
The other big way is by underutilizing him. Like I said, Casey, whose name is not in the title of this show, has more screen time than him. Yes, I am serious by the way. He's from hell, but they do literally nothing with it. So, what's the point? I get that a Puerto Rican Jewish kid can be interesting, but when we are seriously comparing it to a fucking living T-Rex, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be more interested in the T-Rex, especially since his name is in the show. There's a joke in the first episode of Colin and Clifford.
I would have been deader than bedazzled denim without you and your big red buddy. Speaking of which, where are you keeping Clifford anyway?
Which is actually a fair criticism to bring up. Devil acts like a dog, like that's kind of his main trait. Yes, people have depicted T-Rexes as dogs before. Night at the Museum did this. Can I just watch Rebeccah Dinosaur Story? It's a much better story of a T-Rex in New York City hanging out with a child. It's always baffling to me that no one ever tries to stop Devil once. Like, no animal control or police, FBI, the army. Like, you could fail at it, sure, but they don't even try to attempt. His dialogue shit gets repetitive after a while. Devil can't talk because he's a dino, but he can film and do emojis. I thought at first that Devil was like Scooby-Doo, but then I remembered that Scooby-Doo can occasionally speak English correctly. Fucking hell, even Courage can also. He can at least talk better than Devil.
Can you speak correctly?
Is there any reason for Devil not being able to speak? And don't say, he's a dinosaur so he can't talk. I have two ways to debunk this. One, they say he's from hell, so he's not even a literal T-Rex, which, why not just use a regular T-Rex from the past? Rebeccah Dinosaur Story did that perfectly fine, and speaking of Rebeccah Dinosaur Story, that brings me to my second way of debunking this. That film had a scientist use brain grain to make the dinosaurs speak and understand English.
Lunch? What's lunch?
So why doesn't Lunella fix something up to make Devil smarter? If she could do a brain switch on him, I'm pretty sure you could make Devil talk, and he doesn't have to be all talkative. In my last video, I established that Hamster from Hamster and Gretel, which is a Flash cartoon by the way, as someone asked me, that Hamster could talk, but it was limited, and that was for the best. Devil just making grunts is not interesting. Despite me not sounding the best towards Devil, I do believe he stars in the best episode of the show. Teacher's Pet, no association with the Disney show of the same name. Basically, it starts off as the old pet jealous of the new pet cliche. In this case, Devil hating the hamster. But it actually takes it into a new direction and it feels heartwarming. I even once cried during the episode, and this is the only episode to make me cry. It's also the only episode that I would give a perfect 10 out of 10 to. And now let's talk about why Lunella is the worst. Section 5. Optimistic, happy, kooky girl. So people have been saying for the past decade that every single Disney cartoon has every single protagonist be an optimistic, happy, kooky girl, or something similar of the sort. That's obviously not true, and Boon Choi is a Disney female protagonist that is not kooky. She's actually very calm.
I don't feel safe.
But when it comes to almost every other Disney show in the last 10 years with a female protagonist, yes, I get that. And sadly, every single Disney show from this decade so far has had only female protagonists, no male. I guess this is to make up for lost time. Funny story, I'm doing a marathon called DuckTales to DuckTales, where I take a look at every single Disney cartoon, the first 69 of them. The ones that were in between the beginning of the original DuckTales to the ending of the reboot of DuckTales. If I ever do a season 2 of that show, I'll add Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur to the second season. I reviewed the first 23 shows last year. Do you know how many of them had a female protagonist? Only one. And technically that was based off of a movie. It's getting a live action remake later this year. That of course being The Little Mermaid. All the other 22 shows had a male protagonist. But yes, Disney, I would enjoy a male protagonist again someday. I don't have an issue with the optimistic, happy, kooky girls that Disney has made as of late. I love Mabel, Star, Luz, Molly, and Gretel. In fact, it's when the show stops focusing on them being fun is when I hate them. While for Gravity Falls, Dipper is the protagonist, I understand why people still point to that show as the start of the trend. I don't hate Mabel. Even my least favorite episode of the show, Weird Again Part 2, she at least learns at the end that what she's doing is not okay. Star Butterfly only got bad in the second half of her show where they stopped being fun and focused on lore, magic, and racism with fictional creatures, even though the show did a good job in its first couple of seasons with Marco Diaz being Latino American. Luz becomes insufferable when she stopped being fun and became all sad and a liar. Molly and Gretel never suffer once because they're all funny and happy. Lunella is the first one part of this trend I hated from the start. That's because she's obnoxious. She's not funny in the slightest. And of course, she is a liar! I just realized something. Lunella hides her identity from everyone. We established that. But I think the public would be fine with this. The first scene of the show shows Lunella greeting everyone and they're all happy to see her. And the final scene of the first episode has Moon Girl do all the exact same things as Lunella, making me question even more how people don't put 2 and 2 together. At least the people from Word Girl were clueless and it's a parody cartoon. If I showed you this music video here, you would get the impression that everyone would know that Lunella is Moon Girl and that she has a pet T-Rex. And that family line makes the line worse. Identity doesn't work if it's halfway, by the way. I forgot to mention this show earlier, but Johnny Test is a show where the parents know about the lab, but don't know that the dog Dookie can speak and is kept secret for reasons unknown. Lunella is also at her worst when she is not happy. Episode 2 comes to mind, where she basically blocks everyone in her life just to mess with a troll. Lunella fights this troll with emojis. How the fuck do you make something worse than the Emoji Movie with emojis? At least that movie still used dialogue for the emojis.
High five, don't do it. Don't you do it. It's already been in there once.
Apparently every single person on the internet that hates you is a troll. You don't need to accept criticism. Hate is gonna hate. I hate this episode. I forgot to mention this cliche earlier, but it's not retro. It's actually more modern. This cliche has a name. It's called plot mandated friendship failure. Basically, when these friends in the second or third act have a falling out or a breakup that lasts 5 to 10 minutes, almost every single movie has them. There are ways to make this work. Make it short like Ralph Breaks the Internet, or Piglet's Big Movie where the characters have a falling out but they don't go separate ways. I don't mind when a force of nature forces the characters apart. What I am tired of is the friends bickering and arguing, especially when we know that they're not gonna break up.
Well, maybe I would have been better off without friends like you!
Hey movie, I know that Twilight is gonna get back together with her 5 friends because the show already confirmed 2 more seasons with them. This is just wasting my time. Yeah, right, these guys are gonna break up in the pilot. It's just a waste of 10 minutes of my life. This cliche is bad enough in film. We don't need television to start adding this cliche now. Can we please stop this cliche? It's the worst cliche ever, mostly because it always plays out the same. Just once. I like to see someone break up at this part and not have that character come back. And I don't like Lunella's voice. It's too obnoxious for my taste.
Okay. 5,000 cubic inches of popcorn per square foot times 10,000 square feet of floor means...
I'll be sweeping till the sun goes supernova! You know, I was looking at the project last night and I realized we need a triple forged gorilla wrench and are interested in. Well, I'm out.
And let me be clear about something. When characters in animation sound bad, it is very rarely that it is the voice actor's fault. These actresses here were the main six in Friendship is Magic. The director, whoever it is, probably wanted these actresses to sound as annoying as possible because the director thought that would be most appealing to children. Pony Life is still annoying. Brenda's song played London Tipton from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Have you buckled your seatbelt?
I was going to, but this outfit just wrinkles so easily, so I thought...
Just do it.
Known to be one of the most annoying Disney characters ever. But in real life, Brenda was a child prodigy who went to Harvard that is extremely smart. And she was also Anne Boonchoy from Amphibia, one of the best Disney characters ever. Of course, sometimes you don't get the correct actor for a scene, but you will need to find a good replacement. A lot of people often think that Rowan Atkinson voiced Zazu in the 2003 Lion King Special Edition song, Morning Report.
This is the morning report. Gives you the long and the short.
It's not, and if you think that, you're wrong. While Rowan Atkinson played Zazu in the original 1994 Lion King film, voice actor Jeff Bennett, who I personally call the King of Impressions, plays him here. As for Diamond White, I don't know what else she has done, but I can imagine she can do better than this. Although, I do love her opening song. Okay, let's talk about the LGBTQ+ representation now. Section 6, LGBTQ+. Okay, I don't mean to offend anyone about this upcoming question, especially how things have changed since I graduated high school, but do middle schoolers care about LGBTQ+ rep? When I was in middle school, everyone was straight and homophobic, and they called you gay as an insult, even though they spent their free time drawing penises everywhere. And let me proudly say, middle school sucked! Although, when I went to high school, people stopped being homophobic and were very accepting. Hell, I was in the high school Gay Straight Alliance Club. It's like in the summer of 2011, everyone got fixed. And that's kind of my issue with the age that they chose for Lunella. She is too young. Like, if they made her a high school student, I could buy the LGBTQ+ rep. Or maybe I'm just out of date. Hopefully, I don't know. I mean, I only learned last month that queer isn't a slur anymore and that it's a good word to use in the LGBTQ+ community. And I never heard the term non-binary until the start of this decade, being 2020. So I was definitely out of touch on those merits, but I just don't have the correct knowledge on representation when it comes to minors. I don't really see real-life people or even fiction talking about middle school LGBTQ+ love. I'd say the Owl House, but technically that's fiction and the girl in question is from another universe. But let's play fair and see what LGBTQ+ rep we get from Moon Girl. Casey has two dads, but they have done nothing in any episode I have seen. And I've seen all of them for the record. But considering that we're not even a quarter of the way done with this show,
he's almost a quarter of the way there.
I suppose there's plenty of time to fix that. I don't want this to be just another Willow from the Owl House, where she has two dads but they don't do anything with them. It's a sub-cliche, I suppose, a girl having two dads and doing nothing with them. Other than Casey's two dads, there's not much else. One girl has a transgender sticker in the first episode. That was our first instance of LGBTQ+ rep, and her name is Brooklyn. They do eventually one episode with her, including this other character who is non-binary named Ty.
All right. It's the volleyball team.
That was a very annoying introduction, by the way. Besides Brooklyn's dialogue, who kind of looks like Penny Proud to me, this is just lazy. Ty isn't shown doing much in their opening appearance. If you want to introduce a character, you need to make it feel natural, and these random ass title cards don't do it for me. Okay, you told us their names, gender, and preferred pronouns. What is the point? it tells me nothing about these characters. You can actually go a long time without mentioning a character's name to make me interested. It takes a long time for the Lion King to mention Rafiki's name, but because Rafiki is a well-written and enjoyable character, this doesn't bother me. Because Brooklyn's only information is the trans is beautiful sticker in the first episode, they don't give enough to tell me anything else. I'm gonna assume for now that they are male to female. It could also be like this because their actress is trans/non-binary. But what do Ty and Brooklyn do in their only episode so far? Ty mentions that they enjoy creepy circus stuff, but do these two do anything of actual significance? Oh, they beat up a child!
Don't hit me, hit Moon Girl. If Moon Girl is chasing you, you deserve it.
This is bad rep. The context for this scene? So Lunella is invited to a slumber party and she admits that she never could successfully stay at one. Which I guess makes sense when you're sleeping at someone else's house, but they also make an annoying body swap episode with Lunella and Devil switching. And they actually don't switch the voices, because brains. Yes, this is the more realistic way, even though you can't switch brains in real life. I used to think that it was better to do body swaps this way. Hibari-kun also did a body swap episode without switching the voices, the only other cartoon to do this off the top of my head. But ever since 2022, when I started improving myself and wanted to focus more on fun, I realized that it's better to not keep the voices in the same body. It's better to be less realistic, because from what I gather, it makes things more fun.
Ho ho! It's funny cause different voices are coming out of different mouths!
Haha! While this is all going on, Brooklyn has a little brother named TJ. Basically, TJ is a boy that does nothing wrong, but the older sister has a problem with this.
Oh my gosh, TJ, get your stupid city out of my party! I was here first. I'd explain its technical complexities, but you wouldn't understand. Snot brain. Oh, your guts are dumb and you smell.
Well, if that ain't a retro cliche, it's been a while for this one. The older sister takes advantage of the younger brother cliche. Dexter's Laboratory did this with Dee Dee and Dexter, early South Park did this with Shelly and Stan, Juniper Ree and Ray Ray from Juniper Lee, Buzz on Maggie with her little brother Pupert, the X's with Tuesday and Truman, the Mighty Bee with Bessie and Ben, Twilight and Spike from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, all 5 of Lincoln's older sisters in the Loud House. Can we please stop this cliche? I thought this was dead, but Moon Girl wants to bring this cliche back to life.
Your friends are weirdos. Leave us alone, or I will tape your butt to the subway and send you to the part of the Bronx where they throw away little brothers forever.
So you were gonna sell your brother. That threat just makes me not like Brooklyn even more. Do you know what her energy there remind me of?
If I don't see a new door in my station in 5 seconds, I will personally put you through the shredder!
Yes, this is the same energy as Randall from Monsters, Inc. A villain. Someone that we are supposed to hate. Brooklyn was supposed to like and be considered good trans representation. Brooklyn and everyone at the party just ignored TJ entirely, and get this, TJ gets fed up and that's why he's the villain at the end, because he was pushed too much. And the girls have enjoyment of TJ's stuff getting destroyed. Why?
I'll kiss you for this. I'll find something you love, and I'll...
DJ, mira, leave your sister's friends alone. ¿Entiendes?
Yeah, I don't blame TJ stealing Lunella's remote. I would have done the same thing. I can't believe I'm defending hashtag CrushItNip from DC Superhero Girls here, but at least that episode didn't actually have the girls kill or even just try to beat up that boy. Sure, Babs stopped them, but still, and at least Steve Trevor's was the same age. Meanwhile, the girls and them beat someone up that did nothing wrong that is half their age. Who is supposed to be the hero again? Section 7. The animation and music. I don't want to spend too much time criticizing the animation and music because this video is long, and that also there's not too much wrong with it. The opening of this show where Lunella skates by is pretty good. Like, legit good. Yeah, you know what? I'll defend that. This is probably the best song of the whole show.
But wait, there's more.
The rest of the music is not that great. Most of it is just generic rap music.
For no 5-head is growing by the hour. Puny little girl who fights crime on wheels.
But I bounce with no problem. Tell 'em problem. I'm winning. Yeah, I'm winning.
Stage 'cause my flow hotter. I gotta find my direction, put my goals in perspective. I'm in route.
And I'd say that these music videos at the end look good, but they're just the same exact visuals. The only exception was the gentrification villains. When you compare this to something like Class of 3000, it has variety.
What's to do? Well, you can plant a little seed and watch it grow, 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 grow.
I'm just playing what I feel, and it sure feels good.
It wasn't all just rap your way to defeat the villain. If I want to rap against an opponent, I play Friday Night Funkin'. My main issue with the animation is when they just have the characters slide with no actual animation going on. Like, this is literally something that I can do in Vegas. It doesn't look good and it feels very cheap or a terrible shortcut. It's not stylized enough to avoid this problem. Section 8. Wasted potential. This show can be good, but often chooses to ignore the fun characters and just focus on these awful characters. This show has a bit of a theme of gentrification, especially in episode 11 where 2 white people move into the neighborhood to change everything, and they're viewed as villains. And that's kind of why I wish this show would just ditch the superhero aspect and focus more on the slice-of-life comedy family dynamics. I love Lunella's family, which is ironic since I think that Lunella is the worst character. Grandma Mimi can be hilarious.
People tend to criticize what they don't understand. So they tell us our natural hair is sloppy, unkept, unprofessional, or even ugly.
But they're wrong.
I'll add an extra ingredient just for you. It's called a can of whoop yo hey.
Mimi, how about Casey and I show you a new dance move?
Aha! Explain.
Ma, you sure he should be doing stuff like that?
Stuff like that is why I married him, sweetheart.
And the dad is a cinnamon bun, and I think the mom is funky. A show about a POC family trying to struggle to survive running a roller skating rink sounds a lot more interesting than just a girl lying to her family fighting bad guys in spandex. People will probably tell me that that's how the original story went, but you remember that this is Disney. Remember, Walt once told people to not read The Jungle Book because he wanted to do something different. It's okay to be different. And when you care about being different, unique, and animation as a whole, as in treat it with the respect that it deserves, and as an artistic medium, you get this.
Animation is cinema. Animation is not a genre. Keep animation in the conversation. Thank you.
And finally, Section 9, the humor. I could talk about the fourth wall jokes where characters move stuff and the annoying hashtags or dabbing. Hey guys, I'm the Borax. I speak for the Bleach. But the best point to make is this Naruto reference. Now, if you have never seen this show before, can you explain this reference? You can, because that is it. This reminds me of Double Rainbow. Funny story, I was going to review Double Rainbow again for its 10th anniversary. And yes, it is 10 years old now as of March 2023. But then I realized that Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is a better fit for this issue. This would be like if I put a random character on screen and expect you all to laugh at it. Hey guys, look! Starlight Glimmer! Yes, this show can often shove random references in. They also have a Ratatouille and Emperor's New Groove reference, which is fine since it's owned by Disney. And the mention of the Avengers works in the first episode because this is New York City, and Moon Girl is a Marvel property. And even the My Neighbor Totoro reference I can let slide because it's just a photo shoot to look cool. And Devil, to be fair, is a unique monster. But this Naruto reference makes no sense. What, it's supposed to establish that everyone behind the show is a weeb? It's never brought up again, it's just, LOL, reference! I'd rather the show do more jokes like this.
Yo, Moon Girl. I'll get an autograph.
Of course. Crazy.
Moon Girl is fine. It's just fine. It's not good, but it has so much potential to improve. We're only a dozen episodes in. It can get better, or it can get worse. A part of me thinks that it's gonna get worse because one of the writers confirmed that the show is gonna get more serious. I mentioned this at the beginning of this video, but this show is gonna be affected with Cerebral Syndrome. That's when a show gets darker and becomes more lore-based. It started in the 2010s with shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, and My Little Pony. But this trend hasn't died 13 years later. I wouldn't mind this except that it seems to be the default for every modern cartoon. Shows like Gravity Falls and Amphibia can make this work because they are upfront from the start what their show is going to be like. If it wasn't for that tweet from the showrunner, I wouldn't be able to think that Moon Girl is going to go that route. Hell, there was even a recent thing on Twitter of people saying that the story-driven era for Disney is over. It's not, if Moon Girl was any indication. I highly doubt that I'll make a video on this again, with the exception of Season 2 of DuckTales to DuckTales. But Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is not that terrible. With the exception of the Burrow Bully and Goodnight Moon Girl, which honestly feel like they belong in that new Velma show from earlier this year. that only came out a month before Moon Girl, for the record. I know that I missed some stuff, like the villains, and anything on race, but I didn't feel like bringing up the race in Moon Girl because I didn't see any issues in how it was handled. It wasn't like that terrible Proud Family reboot episode where they want a racist statue taken down, so they just rant once and then the guy gives in like a day later because that's apparently how racism gets resolved, except it's not that easy. Or that episode where Penny's brother has autism and they think that autism gives you powers. Or my least favorite episode with the slavery song where actual black people have told me that it's offensive for historical inaccuracies and failed to bring up that actual black people could do bad as well. Like they won't talk about black on black crime, gun violence, etc. when they try to make it come across as only whites being evil. Oh, and that episode also has Dejanay at her worst ever, like fuck her. She's awful. The villains for Moon Girl weren't just that interesting to talk about. Although I do like the Rat King. I do think he was least interesting. You want to see Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur done right? That! Be more like Craig of the Creek. Interpersonal relationships while showing a healthy family dynamic with no liars. And this shows a good job handling race and gender, and I don't hate any of the characters of the show. Get better, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. This show is not good enough.